So welcome to this part of analog to digital and digital to analog converters. So in this last lecture of digital electronics EI 207 we'll understand this analog to digital conversion. So like DACs, okay, in the DAC the input was binary bit, whereas the output was the analog corresponding analog quantity. Here in the analog to digital converters, what happens? The input is your analog quantity, and corresponding to that we convert it to some binary equivalent value. So that is why it is called analog to digital converter. And here if we try to draw the output input graph, so then we can see that the analog input values are written on the x-axis, whereas the digital output bits are written on the y-axis. So if we consider again the 3-bit ADC, then corresponding to this 3-bit we can have 8 levels. So the output levels will be 2 to the power 3. Okay, so that is what it is, and this is what the full scale value, or the full scale, whatever is the maximum value voltage, input voltage which can apply here, is called the full scale value. Okay, so and this is again the this 45-degree continuous line which you can see is the ideal characteristics, and which this ideal characteristics we get only for a ideal ADC, and the ideal ADC have the infinite resolution. Okay, when the resolution of the ADC is infinite, the number of bits which you can get here is infinite, then only this characteristics is possible. But practically we know that the whatever we do here, how as many number of bits we can increase, we cannot make it infinite. So that is why the output characteristics will not be a smooth line, but it will look like something like a step. Okay, and that is why this type of output is called the staircase output. So either the ADC or the DAC, either it is a DAC or ADC, we have the staircase of output in either of the case. And this staircase output, as you can see, will not be very smooth. It will be more smooth if you increase the number of bits here. It will be less smooth if the number of bits are less. Okay, so if you want the characteristics to be more smooth, then we have to increase the number of bits. But then if we increase the number of bits, then the complexity of the circuit will be more, and therefore the delay and the other power consumptions will also be high. So we will have to make a trade-off. Okay, so we cannot increase the number of bits very much. In that case, the hardware, the number of gates which will be required to design this will be also more. So we cannot make it infinite, we have to make a trade-off. Okay, and in this case also there will always be a quantization error. So quantization error can be reduced by increasing the number of bits. The resolution can also be made smooth, but it cannot be made infinite. Okay, the resolution cannot be made small. Okay, cannot be it cannot be made 0. It will be something, and the quantization error cannot be eliminated completely. There will always be some quantization error. Okay, so we decide some input range. For that input range, our output will be considered as 0. Then there will be some input range for this input range our output will be considered as 0, 0, 1, and so on and so forth up to the highest voltage. Okay, so this is the principle. Now let us see the various types of ADCs. So various types of ADCs which we are going to discuss are counter type ADC, then the tracking type ADC, flash type ADC, dual slope ADC type ADC, and the successive approximation type of ADC. So we'll see one by one each of them, and then we will also see that what are the advantages and disadvantages of this type of ADCs. So starting from the counter type ADC, and you see, once you understand the basic working of a type of ADC, then it will be easy for you to understand the working of the other type of ADCs, because the basic circuit remains the same, but there is only slight modifications, and that modifications we have to understand. So in the counter type of ADC, what we do is, so let's understand the circuit first, and then you'll be able to understand it. So you see what happens. Again we use a comparator. Okay, so this comparator here is the analog input, and this analog input is applied to the positive terminal of the comparator. Okay, then this is our negative terminal of the comparator, and when this starts the counting, we apply some analog input. So we assume that these circuits are resetted. So these are the circuits. So in this, what happens is we use a op-amp comparator first, then we use a AND gate, then we use a counter. Okay, so this is a 8-bit counter. Okay, it is an up counter only. Okay, so up counter only. So it counts in the upward direction only. Then there is a register or 8-bit latch which can store data. Then there is a D by A converter. So as I have already told you that whenever you make a ADC, it will always require a D by A converter, digital to analog converter. And there is a control circuit which controls this circuit and this circuit depending upon what is the input here. So this control circuit is controlled by this input, okay, this output of the comparator, whereas this control circuit controls or resets this counter as well as it resets this latch. Okay, so this is what the circuit is, and the output of this D by A converter gets feeded back to the comparator. So let's say how it works. So to understand it, let's assume that the counter, this D by A converter, this counter is resetted and all this output lines are 0. If this is so, then the this output corresponding to this D by A converter will also be 0. And if this is 0, so whatever input you apply, so this analog input will be higher than this. So higher, if this is a comparator, then this value is higher than this, and this is a positive terminal and this is a negative terminal, then the output will be, the output of the comparator will be high because this terminal is high. The positive terminal is higher than the negative terminal, so the output of the comparator will be 1. So if this is 1 and if there is a clock pulse, then the output of this AND gate will also be 1. If this is 1, then this counter will start working. So if this counter starts, so depending upon what is the analog input value, this counter will count up to that. Okay, so because it has sufficient number of bits, so it will count up to that number. Now when that counter counts and slowly it keeps on increasing the output value, so that output value will be converted back into the analog value, and this analog value is fed here. So when this and this two values become, because this keep on increasing until this value is greater than this. Okay, but when this value is become, because this is continuously increasing and this is a fixed value, let's say, so what will happen, after some instant this value will become equal to this value. So when this happens, the output of the comparator becomes 0, and as the comparator output becomes 0, the output of the AND gates becomes also 0, and this will stop this counter. Okay, so with this the counter stops, and therefore this control circuit, okay, as soon as it gets 0, this control circuit stores the data in this 8-bit latch. So this is what this is how the working of this counter type of ADC works. Okay, so this is what happens, and this data, so the analog input is converted to the corresponding digital output, and then it is stored in this latch. So once this becomes 0 and this is latched, then this control circuit resets this counter again. So this is how it works, and when the next input you apply, again it starts from 0. So this is how the working of the counter type of ADC happens. Okay, so you can understand it from the same thing which I have explained you here is written in this point form also. Okay, so the problem with this type of counter type of DAC is that, for you see, as I have told you, that as soon as the input changes, then it starts counting again from this 0. Okay, and it counts up to that value, and it is an up counter only. So the resolution time, okay, so the time required, okay, settling time is very large in this case. So the time required for the conversion, or the conversion time, will be very large in this case. So that is what the problem with the counter type of ADC. Okay, and that is why it is good to have the conceptual understanding of this, because this same logic will be used in the further type of ADCs, but this is not practically useful. Okay, and the resolution of this type of ADC depends upon the resolution of this counter type of DAC. Okay, so this is counter type DAC, so the resolution of the ADC depends upon this resolution of the DAC. Okay, so this was the working, and it is not difficult to understand. So we understood that how it works, and for every analog input, that counter will convert the analog input to the digital value. Okay, so this is what the working of it. Now considering this into mind, so don't forget it, keep this in mind, and considering this, if we move on to the another type of ADC, so that is called tracking type ADCs. So this, in tracking type ADC, what we do is we improve the shortcoming of our counter type of ADC. So in the counter type of ADC, the conversion time was large because the counter which we were using there was up counter only. Okay, and that is why the settling time and the conversion time was very high, because the counter resets again as soon as the input, when analog input value changes, the counter got resetted in that case. So just to avoid that, what we do here in this case, the whole circuit is same as the previous case. There is only slight change in the circuit. So that slight changes, that rather than using the up counter, okay, as we have used in case of the previous ADC counter type of ADC, we have used only up counter. So in a tracking type ADC, rather than using an up counter, we use an up down counter. Okay, so you know from our basic discussion of the counters, that how we can design a counter which can count in both the direction, in the up direction as well as in the down direction. So we know all these things. So because of this counter, up down counter, what happens, that rather than resetting the counter again and again whenever the input changes, what happens is, if the input decreases, then the counter keeps on, counter can count in the downward direction also. So because of that, the counter does not start every time from the 0. Okay, and because of that, the settling time gets drastically reduced, and therefore it can track the input voltage, the analog value. Okay, that is why it is called the tracking type ADC, because when the analog input increases, that time the up counter works, whereas when the analog input decreases, that time the down counter starts working. So you can understand its operation as well. So when up counter, okay, so it can either, when this output is, when this input value is greater than this, then it counts in the upward direction, same as it was in the counter type of ADC. But when this input is equal to this, or it is greater than this, then this is 0, this output is 0, and the counter starts counting in the downward direction. So that is what the advantage. Rest of the things are the same as the counter type of ADC. So with this, we reduce the settling time of the circuit, and therefore the conversion time is also reduced, and the speed of the operation increases. Okay, so this is what the advantage of this. So you can understand, so whatever I have explained you can understand it, and you can see that the average conversion time of the device is halved. Okay, so TC maximum by 2. So whatever is your clock pulse frequency, so that depending upon that, it becomes decreased. Conversion, TC is the conversion time. So the average conversion time becomes the maximum TC divided by 2. Okay. So now moving on to the another type of ADC. So it is called flash type of ADC. So the flash type of ADC is the fastest type of ADC. Okay, out of all the type of ADCs, flash type is the fastest ADC, and the reason for that is this circuit. Okay, so this is what the circuit for a flash type of ADC looks like. So in this circuit, you can see that this is the reference voltage and this is a resistance ladder. Okay, so this is a type of resistance ladder which is connected to this comparator. So these comparators are made by, again, with the help of op-amp. So it can be a single-ended comparator or a differential comparator. So usually we use a differential comparator here. So what happened in this case, and we also use a priority encoder. Rather than an encoder, we use a priority encoder here, priority encoder. So priority encoder we have studied earlier. The reason to use priority encoder is that if there are multiple bits becomes high simultaneously, then also the output is a valid output. Okay. So what happens in this case is that this reference voltage gets divided by this. There is this resistances works as a voltage divider. So if this is some reference voltage, so corresponding to whatever analog input you apply, so corresponding to that analog input, that particular comparator gets activated. Okay. So what happens is, let's say if this reference voltage is 5 volts, okay, and how many outputs are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's consider this voltage to be as 8 volts. So if this is 8 volt, then this will be your So how many resistances you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so what happens? This voltage gets divided into 9 equal parts. So if this voltage is less than this voltage, then this will be 1. So if this voltage is higher, so analog input, if you suppose apply 1 volt, and if you divide this 10 volt by 8 volt by this 9 resistances, then this will be less than 1. So you can see that for 1 volt this comparator will work. Okay, whereas if it is 2 volt, then the input is 2 volt, then this comparator will work. Okay, so you see, if it is 2 volt, then these two comparators will work. So corresponding to whichever input is high, so that comparator only starts working. So the rest of the other comparators do not work. So because of this, what happens? The speed of the operation becomes very high in this case of in the case of flash type of ADC. So that is why it is called flash ADC. So this is the working of this flash type of ADC, and corresponding to this, whichever number of comparators are working. So if this, as I have told you, if this is 1, then this will work. If this is 1, then both of them will work. So corresponding to this priority encoder will generate this binary output. Okay, so if it is an 8/3 priority encoder, so you will have 8 inputs here, and this, so corresponding to this analog input, it will it will generate some outputs here. Okay, so whatever is the input, corresponding to that the output will be generated. We can see this here. So this is the fastest one. Now moving on to the another type of ADC. So this ADC is also very good to understand the working concept, but it is not used too much because the settling time is too large for this type of ADC. So to understand it properly, first we should understand it is called a dual slope A type of ADC, because the output it generates have both the negative as well as the positive slope. Okay, so what happens in this case? Whereas if you have a single slope type of ADC, then it can generate only one waveform, either in the positive waveform or the negative waveform. Okay, so if you this is what the case is. So what happens is, this is your comparator, this is your op amp which is working as an integrator, and this is another op amp which will work as a comparator. And the other things, this is a clock pulse, this is an AND gate. The output of the inputs of the inputs of these AND gates are connected, like one input is connected to the clock pulse, whereas the other input is connected to the comparator of this, and there is an n bit counter. Okay, so counter is same as the earlier case, and here there is a controller. So what happens in this case is that the input, okay, so the input can be connected with the help of, there is a switch. So the input can be connected either to the input voltage, analog input voltage, or it can be connected to the reference voltage, okay, with the help of this controller. So this controller controls the operation of the switch, okay, which connects either the input to the circuit to the input voltage Vin or to the reference voltage. So what happens in this case is, if the input is, let's say, if input is connected to Vin, then so you can see that if the input is, let's say, some positive voltage, then this positive voltage is applied to this integrator. So this integrator is same as the earlier case. Okay, so then this integrator is integrates the input, and the slope of this integrator will be, because if this voltage is positive and this is connected to the negative terminal, then the slope of the this curve will be negative. So it will keep on converting this output depending upon for how much time the input is applied. So this R and C values are constant, as you can see. So therefore, if this R and C values are constant, so the time constant of this converter will be constant. So depending upon what is the value of the input, that circuit will keep on integrating for that duration. So this RC time constant remains same, but if the input value is low, then the integrate will work for lesser time. But if the input value is high, then the integrator will work for more time. So the integration operation will take place for longer time. So if the integration operation takes for longer time, then the output value will be large. Okay, so if the integration takes place at less time, then the output value will be less. okay, so corresponding to that. So you can see that the slope of this curve is negative in this case, because this voltage we have assumed that it is positive, okay, and the voltage up to which it can go depends upon the applied voltage, okay, and the time constant will be same. So in the same duration, the output will go at different values. So either it goes at this value or this value at this value. So because you can see that as the output goes at different values in the same time, therefore the slope of this line will keep on changing, okay. So this is the one reason. So this is what we understood. Now when this input is high, when Vin was equal to positive, so this integrator was producing one output, okay, so it was continuously integrating. So this comparator, as this input is greater than this one, so it will generate some output. So this counter will generate, let's say, if it is, let's say, it will generate 0. So in this case it will count in the downward direction. So that is why if it is counting in the downward direction, the output slope is also decreasing. Whereas if this comparator, okay, so what happens, this counter will keep on counting in the negative direction till this, oh sorry, what happens when this, because you see this is positive and this is a negative output, so minus V, the output of this waveform integrator is minus Vin upon RC. So what happens when this voltage is positive, so the output is negative. So when this output is negative is applied to the comparator and this voltage is connected to the positive terminal of the op amp is connected to the ground, then the output of the comparator will be 1, okay, because this is higher than this one, sorry, this output is lower than, this is negative and this is 0. So this negative input is lesser than this input, so the output of the comparator will be 1. If the output of the comparator is 1, then this counter will keep on counting in the upward direction, okay, so this is a sort of up down counter, so it will count in the upward direction. So if it keep on counting in the upward direction, then the counter will go on to up to a certain count, okay, so this is what happens. Now as soon as the counter, this keeps on counting in one direction, but when this output, what happens, this, when it keep on counting and when this count reaches to the maximum value, okay, then at that time what happens, there is a overflow is generated. So then this overflow generates this, activates this control circuit, and then this control circuit switches the switch from one position to, from the first position of Vin, when the circuit was connected to the Vin, to the another voltage which is V reference, okay. So this switch operation is controlled by this controller, and this controller is indirectly controlled by this counter, okay. So whenever this overflow generates at this time, what happens, whenever this overflow generates, this switch of this input switches from one position to the another position. Now earlier we assumed that this voltage was positive, now let's assume that this is negative voltage. So if this is a negative voltage, then what happens, this integrator will now integrate in the minus direction, okay. So this is like plus is, minus is connected to the minus terminal, so then it will integrate again. So the integration slope will be positive, okay, and this counter, because this is now will be plus 1. So if this is plus 1, then the output of the comparator will be 0, and therefore you see the output of the AND gate will be 0. So in this case the counter will start counting in the downward direction. So this is an up down counter, as I have told you. So in the earlier case it counted in the upward direction, and therefore the output reached up to this value, whereas in the other case it will keep on counting in the downward direction, and therefore the slope of this the slope of this curve, because the slope is decided by this integrator, so it is in the positive direction, and it will keep on counting till the count become again 0, okay. So the till the counter, because it is counting in the downward direction, so it will keep on counting until this circuit, okay. So again the controller, so this overflow is generated, and in this case whenever it becomes again 1, so then because you see it is counting in the downward direction, so when this overflow is not there, so this controller will become again this, it will keep on counting up till the output is 0 0 0. So as soon as this becomes 0 0 0, this switch again switches to the another position, to the previous position. So this is how the output generates the output is generated in this there are two slopes, so that is why it is called dual slope. Okay, so this is the first half and this is the second half. So in this T1 half, this input is integrated, and then the output in the second half, this reference voltage again helps it to come back to the zero. Okay, zero position. So this is how this circuit works. And we can see that the circuit generates, depending upon the input value, it generates the output corresponding to the input value, and the slope will be different for this different input values. And this is how the circuit works, and that is why it is called dual slope type of ADC. Okay. Next is your successive approximation type of ADC. In the successive approximation type of ADC, what we do is we use again a comparator. Okay, and we assume again that before the operation starts, this counters or the resistors, whatever circuit you are using, they are resetted and starts with they are reset and the output is 0 in this case. So what happens when you apply some input here, this is a positive terminal, this is negative terminal. So what happens, this input, this will be greater than this, so the output will be 1. Okay, and this logic circuit, okay, so this is a clock logic, so this output register is there, and this register is like what happens in this case. So what happens in this case is that whenever this input is when this input is, let's say, 1, so the output registers stores some value. Okay, and this happens like it resets the starting from the MSB. So when the first this clock pulse appears, so what happens is the bits of the DAC are enabled one at a time. So this bits of the DACs, so this is not an ADC, this is a DAC. So overall this is a ADC, sorry, but this circuit is not an ADC, it is written by mistake, so it is a DAC. So what happens is the bits of the DAC are enabled one at a time. Okay, with the help of these registers, and starting with the this one bit is enabled, the bits of the DAC are enabled one at a time, starting with the MSB. So what happens, the MSB is enabled first. Okay, as each bit is enabled, so what happens, the comparator produces an output that indicates whether the analog input voltage is greater or less than the output DAC. Okay, so what happens, if this output is greater than or less than this input value, depending upon that your MSB will be set. So if this is higher than this, then this will become 1, but in the next stage it will again check for this bit. If this value becomes greater than, if this input value is still greater than this value, then the output bit will be 1. Whereas if this value again, if this value becomes greater than 1, greater than the analog input, then the next MSB will be 0. Okay, so the next bit will be 0, or if it was already set to 1, then it will reset to 0. Okay, so this is what happens. So you can understand the working by understanding this. Okay, so this operation is not difficult to understand, but this is a very popular ADC, and so whenever we have to make a ADC, we usually use this method, successive approximation type of ADC. So in this case, what happens, starting from the MSB, so the name itself suggests that the successive approximation takes place. So starting from the MSB, so first MSB is decided, then depending upon the analog input present, the next bit is decided. If the present analog input is, let's say if this is 5 volts, okay, the analog input is 5 volts, so corresponding to this first MSB will be decided. So the output will be let's say for this MSB it will be 2.5 volts. Okay, because this output this is E by 2 we know, so corresponding to this, if this becomes 1 and the rest of them are 0 0, so the output will be 2.5. okay, 2.5. Then what happens, this next will come. Okay, so it will check for the next bit. So if this is 5 volts, and it will check whether this what is coming, this output, so if it is a DAC, so corresponding to this it will generate some analog value. So it will be, this analog value will be what, 2.5 volts, and it will see that it is again 5 volt is greater than 2.5 volt. So again it will generate, it will make this bit as 1. because this value is still greater than 1. Okay, so this, like this, it keep on checking continuously that what is the output of this DAC, and corresponding to that output what should be the input. Okay, so if this input value is greater than this, then this next bit will be set to 1. But if at a certain instant this bit becomes less than this, then the next bit will be generated as 0. So this is what I have explained to you. Okay, so this is how this circuit works, and it converts approximation, so successive approximation. Okay, so successively the MSBs are starting from the MSB, the digital outputs are like you are approximating it. Okay, so this is how it happens, and this is the operation of your ADC. Okay, this type of ADC, it happens, and this is our output register. So from here we fetch the output value, so corresponding to the input value we get the output value. Okay, from this. So this is the operation of this circuit. You can understand it by reading this slide particularly. So I have tried to explain you this in a short explanation. Now moving on to, okay, so this was the last ADC we have to discuss. So this was all about the analog to digital converters. Probably the explanation was not that much clear to you because these are all analog circuits, and this operation depends upon the op-amp, and it's a, I mean, this unit we have understood that how we can use the counters and the registers and the DAC to apply ADCs also. Okay, so a DAC itself uses op-amps and the registers combination. So if you're not familiar with op-amps, so it will be a little difficult for you to understand the things. But if you are familiar with the this op-amps, so then the working of this ADCs and DACs will be easy and like self-explanatory. By if you just see the circuit itself, then you can easily explain the working of this circuits. So hope you people have clearly understood the thing, and if you are not able to clearly understand the things, then you can ask me the things in the doubt class. I will clarify everything there, because there physically will be able to discuss the things. Okay, so thank you for listening. Thank you everyone. So with this we complete our this digital course here. Thank you.